The economy is a hot topic among the presidential candidates. Here's a snapshot of comments from just yesterday.
I believe we got to get the economy working for everybody, not just those at the top. And we need to make sure that the rich pay their fair share.
My economic agenda can be summed up in three such beautiful, beautiful words: jobs, jobs, jobs. We're going to lower your business tax from 35% to 15%. New companies are going to form. People are going to get jobs.
First on CBS This Morning, a new poll from the world's largest investment firm shows the election is also looming large in the minds of investors.
The BlackRock Investor Pulse Survey found nearly two-thirds of Americans say the election has impacted their investment decisions over the past year. About one-third feel the election poses a threat to their financial future. BlackRock President Rob Kapito is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
So what do you read from these numbers that you've got in terms of the impact on their economic future and their investment decisions?
Well,
that the political campaign has that kind of impact.
Well, I'm very pleased to say that people are a bit more confident in their financial future than the last time I was here.
Yeah.
They believe that there is going to be an impact on the election, on how they're managing their portfolios. And I'm actually proud to say that people are going to cast their ballot at the voting box and not in their portfolios. And it's described by what they're doing. And what they're doing is they're more in cash than they have ever been before. Now, there are problems.
You're in cash when you're worried about the future.
They're in cash because they're worried about the results of the election. Now, it's not who wins, it's just the fact that there's actually going to be an election and there could be change. And in fact, the election is only number 5 on the list of what they're worried about. People are worried about the high cost of living. They're worried about health care costs. They're worried about the general economy, and they're worried about Social Security. Those come out before the election comes out. So rather than take a risk, people have moved money into cash. And the results of this are fascinating because you learn how different investors think. And last time, Nora asked me about the difference between men and women. And in fact, men have 60% of their portfolios in cash, and women now have 75% of their portfolios in cash. Very interesting. And the people that are investing more are the millennials. And that makes sense because the millennials didn't have the muscle memory of the last financial crisis because they didn't have money then. So the millennials are investing more, and then as you move to Generation X and the baby boomers, they're more in cash. Now,
Is that good, Rob, to have so much in cash?
no, and that was my next point. Because you can't save for the future and you can't invest for the future in the future. So people are sitting in cash at a very, very bad moment when interest rates are so low, and globally some rates across the world are actually negative. So they need to invest this money into the markets today. And I think there are many, many opportunities for them to do that, but it's so critical that they get this money invested or they won't have enough for retirement.
So what's the safest thing to be in?
Yeah.
Well, I think that in the survey, people say that after the election, they're going to focus about 20% more of their portfolio in equities and 20% more in bonds. I think that equities that have a dividend, and dividends have always been a large portion of the total return of a stock, are very important. These are large cap companies. Open your refrigerator, see the companies that represent different products that pay a good dividend, and you can get 4 to 5% dividends versus being in cash at 25 basis points. I also think, Charlie, because there's over $50 trillion of cash that is sitting in banks right now, earning next to nothing, in some places negative,
right,
that when that money starts to get allocated, it's going to keep rates lower for longer, and it's actually going to buoy the stock market to rise. So I think there's some really good opportunity in income-generating equities, municipal bonds, no matter who wins the election, and short-term, maybe high-yield bonds that give people some income, because that's going to be very important for your future.
The Federal Reserve minutes were released that indicated once again that we're expecting interest rates to rise probably after the election. What impact do you think that will have?
Well, it really is not going to change people's lives the next day. So if interest rates rise 25 or 50 basis points, it may signal the beginning of rises in interest rates. And that's why I would say people should be in shorter term bonds so that they'll get the opportunity to invest their coupon at higher rates later. But like most people in this survey, they realize in the election and also in the Federal Reserve that the economy today is not going to change the day after the election and the day after interest rates rise.
Does BlackRock believe that the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates in December?
Well, there's a 50% chance. It's really going to depend upon what Janet Yellen is looking at, the numbers, jobs.
Does BlackRock believe it's a good idea to raise interest rates?
I think at this point in time, it would be a good idea to begin the process of raising rates. You know, it's very hard for people to live off of the incomes that they have today with the higher cost of living. Yeah. And if you look at where short-term rates are, this changes people's lives. In a sense, it's a tax. It's a stealth tax on the future. They need higher interest rates so that the money that they have deposited in banks or at money market funds gives them some income so that they can take that income, pay down their debts, and have some money left over to invest in the future.
Thank you, Rob.
Kapito. We always like it
My
when
pleasure.
you come to the table. Thank you very much, sir.